Real Deal Media's #1 show, World at War. I'm your host, Dean Ryan. But let's continue here because I'm getting an aneurysm thinking about that woman. Her family won't go away. Where is Dick Cheney and his fifth fake artificial heart at this point? Why is that guy not dead? And why is George Soros still alive too? These are questions that we all should be having at the dinner table nightly. Continuing, Real Deal headlines. Well, moving on from that wonderful, pleasant story. Well, here's something that's interesting, and I am looking for answers if you are from this area. Well, Arkansas, get this. Arkansas is a very flat area. There's a little hills here and there, but Arkansas has just now faced a swarm of 6 earthquakes, back to back, I believe. Swarm of earthquakes rattles Arkansas, geologists say. So far, no word from officials say, but geologists say, woken up by my bed shaking. Well, that's how you know an earthquake is. That's you're in there with, never mind. Well, swarms of earthquakes have now been detected. This is very unusual. Very unusual. And we need to check the star charts too, because a lot of these things are happening around the, certain holidays and pagan things and this and that. Well, these 6 quakes were detected within the northern region of the Arkansas just around 2 a.m. The first was magnitude 2.4 earthquake, 2.3, 1.9, on and on and on. Now, this is so unusual. And I can say the same thing when these were happening in North Carolina, I want to say, in the Carolinas in general. And as we know, Utah, that wonderful scandal-free state of Utah. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? There's no earthquakes that exist. Is there an underground warfare happening? Is there an underground cleanup happening? I have to beg the question because, as we all know, I was literally on top of one in LA, and it just changes your dynamic in what people tell you is real and not real and somewhere in between. This is happening right now. And the word I got is they're cleaning up the tunnels all the way up to Canada. Canada's in the news too. That's something big coming out of Canada that you're not going to believe. So if you're in Arkansas, people are, find out what the deal is. Has this happened all the time? Because I've studied Arkansas history my whole life, let's just say, and I've never heard about earthquakes 6 in a row. Unusual, unbelievable, yet very believable when you understand this pandemic war. Anyways, I just want to say that real quick. And then here's something happening right now before we get to World War III. If you're in the great state of Texas, well, Texas is being a little advantageous for the good reasons that we all want. Well, now Texas Attorney General launches investigation into Twitter. For a minute there, I was holding my breath thinking that Jeffrey Epstein or the Wiener computer or pretty much any of the scandals that have occurred over the past 5 years. But okay, maybe we can start with Twitter. I'm okay with that if you are. Well, here's what's happening. Now, they're launching an investigation, this according to Zero Hedge, into Twitter because of the bots. Well, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, no relation to Bill, on Monday announced an investigation against Twitter to determine whether they were lying about the number of fake bots accounts on the platform. According to Paxton's office, bots and or spam accounts, they inflate followers and reach and often push deceptive, annoying activity. Gee, you're telling me, Attorney General, I mean, there's like 5 different versions of me selling Bitcoin to people that never even knew I owned it. And if he's here now tonight, he's a bot. Don't even argue with him. I don't sell Bitcoin. I sell watches, stereos at the back of my pickup in the parking lots. Everybody knows that. Continuing. Well, he says large number of bot accounts not only reduces users' experiences on the platform and causes them major anger, well, it also inflate the company value, the cost for doing business, et cetera, et cetera. Paxton said the difference between Twitter's claims that less than 5% user bots versus its projection of possibly 20. Well, this is a huge deal. Let me tell you why. Because as we close that, as we see a lot of the mainstream media fall by the wayside, and I'm talking about Vice, I'm talking about Salon, I'm talking about The New Yorker, a lot of those companies, and this was in the news roughly 2 years ago, maybe change to that, have used the bot program to put roboclicks on their website, which tells advertisers that, oh, see, we are so popular, give us the money. Then the advertisers say, wait a minute, the return doesn't match the outtake. What's going on here? See, we're living in a false reality that is being controlled, manhandled by the tech industry that needs to be slapped across the face and then curb stomped by yours truly. And thank you, Texas General, for doing this. Now, Attorney General, that is. Now, let's get rolling on the other things that need to be boot stomped because this, and furthermore, let me just close on this. the Elon Musk psyop, we could be uncovering election fraud that's in the Twitter headquarters. We can be uncovering, here's a big one, trafficking. Oh, yeah. That's going to be in the second half. You don't want to miss that. Anyways, continuing and ending Real Deal headlines, we're going to move on over to World War III. Oh, yes, the war has changed now. It's not like it used to be. This is not your grandfather's war. There's no Robert Mitchum and John Wayne here to tell you how it's going to be, unfortunately. No, the war is invisible. The war is underground. The war is in space, but the war is psychological. It's exhausting, yet it's here, and it's not going away anytime soon. So let me tell you about it. So this is happening now. U.S. in South Korea now are now firing missiles around the peninsula, the Korean peninsula, because of North Korea. Very interesting. Let's dissect this, and let me tell you more about it. Well, the U.S. and South Korean militaries launched 8 ballistic missiles into the sea Monday in a show of force matching the North Korean missile display a day earlier that extended a provocative streak in weapons demonstrations. Well, the Allies' live-fire exercise involved 8 Army tactical missile system defenses, 1 American and 7 South Korean, that were fired into the South Korean eastern waters across 10 minutes following notifications of maritime safety. Well, this seems to be a tit-for-tat move. Now, if you're like me, you're asking the questions. Well, there's 2 of them that are very predominant. Well, the first one is, well, is this really Kim Jong-un? I mean, I've seen the guy. There's different modules of him, different formations of him. He killed himself twice. He came back. Are we watching some kind of modern religious story in the making right here? Were there 3 mangers around his death and rebirth? I don't know. But here's another question I have to pose. If North Korea's only trading partner, due to embargo and restrictions and all kinds of other elements the U.S. has put on them, if their only trading partner is China, meaning all their food comes from China, all their steel and everything that has to do with import and export is China, is it out of the question, and is it offensive if I say North Korea is nothing but a China storefront? Or should I say a bull in a China shop? You know what I'm saying? So this seems to be an act of distraction, but an act of tit for tat to China, because something's about to happen in Taiwan, as we all know. The chip factories, the biolabs are in Taiwan. Guaranteed, that's what the deal is. And that's why you saw that false flag attack in South Orange County where they attacked a bunch of Taiwanese at the church. Don't think that's a coincidence or an accident. It doesn't fall flat on us here. Anyway, so that's happening now. And it could go awry. I mean, we had people over there on that side. They see just missiles flying over like there's just pigeons, like it's nothing. So you tell me. You tell me. Now, here's something else that's interesting. Speaking of China, I know we don't speak about China enough on here, but one more story won't hurt. Well, this is happening. This is very interesting. It's just from a few days ago. I didn't get to it, but I think it's very much what's happening around the world right now. Well, now China bars Russian airlines with foreign planes. Oh, but I thought they were teammates. What happened? Is this just more distraction for me to just solve the jigsaw puzzle? Oh, okay, fine, I'll play. Well, China has now barred Russia's airlines from flying foreign-owned jetliners into its airspace. Russian news outlet RBK reported that after President Vladimir Putin threw aircraft's ownership into doubt by allowing them to be re-registered in Russian to avoid seizure under sanctions. That's just the cover story. Well, the Civil Aviation Administration of China, which is connected to DJI, that makes all the drones here and is in all the police precincts and is watching you right now, peek out your window and say hi. Well, President Xi Jinping, a.k.a., must I say it, the bear? Yeah, he hates that. Well, his government said February has no limits friendship with Moscow, but has tried to distance itself from Putin's war. No limits friendship. What are they, dating? Mild to wild? I'm up for anything? DTF? What is this? Well, Beijing has criticized Western sanctions, appears to be avoiding the steps. So they don't want anything to do with the war, but, or is it this? Because I'm very inquisitive, just that's the type of person is this being done because Xi Jinping or the CCP know that Russia's submarines are following them on the west coast by Tacoma, as the Russian submarines are in the Canadian waters ready to just infiltrate the U.S., as Mike Adams told you about. They want to come through the beaches of Northern California and Southern, and also Tacoma. Remember, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party in China, owns how many percentage of the ports around the world? Well, if you don't know, 80%, 80%, 80%. I'm telling you, Russia should be the sister country of the United States, not the foe, not the enemy. And soon, China should be too, when they free themselves of the wickedness that was taken over they were taken over by the technocratic dictatorship many, many moons ago, and it started with Mao Zedong and the CIA takeover of 1949. That's right. Put that in your opium pipe and smoke it, CCP. So that's that one for you. Very interesting thing to think about. Now, here's something else that I find interesting is now Lisa Duthie and Jamie's Life Matters. They reported on this a bit ago that they reported seeing orange misty dust in England. They didn't know what it was. The UK government said, well, it's just the haze, or it's just maybe there was a fire nearby. They didn't want to tell the truth. Well, I'll show you the picture in a minute. Well, they're now calling it apocalyptic dust storm that killed 4 people now. They're saying it could hit Europe this month. It could. Just call it what it is. It will. It will. There's no could anymore. Could is being deleted from the dictionary, just like man and woman. So add that one to the list. Well, an apocalyptic dust storm that killed 4 people, as we told you here, has hospitalized thousands that could hit Europe as early as next week. We think, we're guessing, we don't have any inside intel. It's just, we're just talking freely here, just shooting from the hip. Well, a number of countries have now joined this fever, if you will, and have now said the same thing. In the Middle East, have been suffering from extreme weather caused by climate change, wink, wink, leading to an orange-colored dust-laden skies. Well, in mid-May, a sandstorm blanketed areas in Iraq, Syria, and Iran. Now hospitals are overrun with patients experiencing breathing difficulties. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm going to show you this right here. And God forbid this comes to the UK and then it's not going to be good. And we know that the climate change narrative is something that the power structure wants because that's more control over you, the individual, who's the greatest minority in the world. But here, look at this. You're going to be seeing some of this in your neck of the woods. I'm sorry. You could be seeing this in your neck of the woods, wherever you may be. This is happening right now. So there it is. This is reality right now in those countries. If you don't think it can happen to you, you better think again, because you know why? If this was 3 years ago and I told you we're going to be living in a world where people are going to be killing themselves willingly and wearing just sadomasochistic mask and playing this cosplay thing, and there's going to be orange mist everywhere, you would not believe me. So this is a little preview of what we have to look forward to as this pandemic war in its chapters change and turn pages. Frightening. It's so much to intake. I feel like I'm getting manic by the minute here. I really am. And forgive me for that reason. There's just I can't even handle it all. Now let's continue here. Canada is now in the news again. Canada is in the news, and let's return to our World War III. Yeah, Canada and China is in the news. Now, this story shocked me, surprised me, and then did it all over again. This is going to continue our World War III news here. Okay, yeah, this is very shocking. If you're Canada, you know that China has now become part of your lexicon, your customs, your history, and everything in between. In fact, Canada is just yesterday's news for some of these people. Well, get this. This is very interesting. China-Canada tensions are now rising again over North Korea air patrols. Oh, you mean the two lovebirds are fighting? This cannot be real. How is this possible? Well, diplomatic tensions between China and Canada are rising again, with each country accusing the other of using their military aircraft flying near North Korea of provocation and harassment. Well, early on Monday, China's foreign ministry warned Canada of potential, quote, get this, Canadians, I know we have a lot of you watching, quote, severe consequences of any, quote, risky provocation. That's right, risky. Now, out of all the people, the Canadian military, which we cannot find any information about, we've asked Aaron Cates for months now to find information about the Canadian military. They've been Zippo, quiet, crickets, radio silence. Why? Well, after Canada's military last week accused, this is getting good here, and this is on Yahoo, owned by China. What are they trying to tell us? Well, last week accused Chinese warplanes of harassing its patrol aircraft monitoring North Korea's compliance with sanctions. Quote, the UN Security Council has never authorized any country to carry out military surveillance in the seas and airspace of other countries in the name of enforcing, quote, sanctions. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lihan, that's of China, said in the media briefing. Now, alleged Canadian Prime Minister Justine Trudeau, the illegitimate daughter of Castro, well, she's now saying, speaking to reporters in Ottawa, responded that the Canadian planes were participating in a UN mission. That's all. Oh, God. China's actions are irresponsible and provocative, he says, and are putting people at risk, kind of like I am with miracle jabs. Oops, I didn't mean to say that. Well, at the same time, not respecting decisions by the UN to enforce UN sanctions on North Korea. Okay, Trudeau, what you just said is the best example in debate and argument against you $2 hooker, you. You just literally said that China's doing to you or your regime, your Fourth Reich regime with all the leftovers from the 40s, that you're doing to your own people. You chicken neck POS, you. God, I can't wait to meet you at Autograph Day. Yeah. So let me read that again. China's actions are, quote, irresponsible and provocative and are putting people at risk at the same time by not respecting the decisions of the UN. So then again, I have to beg the question, who is Trudeau working for? Trudeau, take me to your leader. Take me to your leader. Because he's not working for you, us, or any of us here. He is working for the UN, just like Barack Hussein Obama, and that entire fake name and history of him. Yeah, that's what the deal is there. So now there is tension. What does this mean, though? What does this mean that this is now a tension and intense thing? Is there a flip happening right now in Canada, as Aaron Cates alluded to? Is there a military special forces collusion with America that is now taking way and underway in North America, Canada, and the U.S.? Could be, because this is not something that is just nilly-willy in the headlines like that on Yahoo, out of all places. And this was never complained over the past several years. I have to beg that question as well. So something is definitely ticking here. Something is definitely ticking. And just to cap it all off, Napoleon 2.0 over there in France, Macron, if you don't know who I'm talking about, well, this guy right here. Yeah, he's in the news. And you won't believe what he's saying. And besides myself, nightly because of this. Well, get this now. Ukraine foreign minister furious after Macron says Russia must not be humiliated. Russia must not be humiliated. What is going on here today? He's sticking up for Russia, Trudeau, or Canada, or somebody behind, whoever's behind Trudeau. There's a lot of guys behind Trudeau, but whoever's behind him right now is going against China. What in the world? All right, let me continue here. French President Emmanuel Macron, aka Napoleon 2.0, sparked a cascade of virtue signaling in social media outrage, saying that, quote, it is vital that Russia is not humiliated so that when the fighting stops in Ukraine, a diplomatic solution can be found. Interesting. We must not humiliate Russia. And this seems to be echoed. And then Ukraine and all the people working with there and the Biden team are disgusted. They're going to declare war on France. You watch. That's going to be next if they don't watch themselves. That's how sick and how dangerous the 6 psychotic psychopaths who are in the United Nations, the WHO, and the World Economic Forum, and the Bilderberg Group that is happening this weekend truly are. Thank God there's sound-minded people, and thank God that there's real Americans who are standing up to this and trying to do something about it. Well, that concludes our World War III. You know, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, nor do I want to be the Grim Reaper. I do have some good news here. I do have some good news, which is going to bring us to Real Deal Health. It's very, very important, and I hope you understand. So we do a lot of real deal health here, and talking about something that is coming to the fold here is cancer. Cancer is a moneymaker. It's an industry. It's an industrial complex, and we all know someone we lost, are losing, could lose from cancer, and we all know some of them very important to RealDealMedia here. The great Tim McLeod is watching down on us tonight. Well, let me tell you about this. This is just an incredible story. As we knew this was going to happen, I've publicly stated this was going to happen. Yet it's happening now, and it's all coming out. Everything, good, bad, and indifferent, is happening all at once. Well, get this. New York City Cancer Trials delivers, quote, an unheard of result. Complete remission for everyone who has cancer. Patients with particular kinds of cancer, well, we don't want to just make everyone feel good here, they said, or a particular kind of mutation received a new therapy called Dostarlimab and had results not seen before ever in the history of cancer trials before. Well, let me continue on this. And I'll show you a quick video because there's something that happened January 22nd of 2020, as I've shared with this audience before, that I'm going to tell you after the story. Well, a small New York City-led cancer trial has now achieved a result reportedly never seen before. Total remission of everybody who was taking this experimental trial, led by doctors at the Memorial Sloan Kettering and backed by drug maker GlaxoSmithKline, who are, I guess they're breaking away from the cancer industrial complex. Well, they had 12 patients who were in major stages and rare mutations of cancer, all cured. Now, all 12 patients had rectal cancer. Well, wasn't expecting to read that in New York City, and that spread beyond measure. Well, let's see this little quick video, and then I'm going to tell you something and get into the thick of it here of what this is all about here, because there's something that happened January 22nd, right before this pandemic just went nuclear and just went hot. Everybody forgot, but not this crowd. January 22nd, 2020, there was a major breakthrough that happened with quote unquote scientists from Britain. And it was so dumbfounding. I couldn't believe it. And as soon as this came out, I kid you not, and I've shared this at least 2 or 3 times over the course of 2 years now with you, there was a cure for cancer that was found by British scientists. Now, we've all heard the rumors of all these cures that are going to be coming out, and maybe the med beds or whatever, all these different beds and everyone's bed and stuff. But how it's going to be relinquished and rolled out to the public is by accident. You know, it's always, we just discovered this. Oh my God, there was a cure for cancer underneath this, rock and the shroud of Moses somewhere. Me, oh my, let's get it out now. Okay, so here it is. Check this out. January 22nd, 2020. Look at this clip here. And I've always kept this in my phone just to remind myself exactly when things went nuclear in this pandemic war, when it all got serious. Here it is. It came out of RT. It says British scientists have found by accident, there's that key word there, a T cell in the human blood that recognizes and kills many types of cancers while ignoring healthy cells. Remember, because chemo kills everything, just slaughters everything. The testing has been only conducted in mice and human cells in the lab, not yet living patients. So that happens, okay? Boom. Pandemic, everything shuts down shortly thereafter. China, it gets all shut down. WHO condemns it. And you don't hear that story ever again. Now, I'm telling you, this has been tested not just on mice. That's what they're telling us. This is being tested on people, and this is ready to roll out. It's just a matter of when, and it's just a matter of when we get rid of these institutions, the FDA, the CDC, and all these other just heinous, just psychotic killers that are preventing true cures for cancer from happening. For instance, in the FDA, you want to have them review your cure for cancer. Well, you have to have at least $4 million. That was 5 years ago, not 5 million. You have to have at least $4 million to be reviewed to cure people. In fact, there's fruits right now in Costa Rica that are illegal in the United States. This is unreal. So expect more of these kind of stories to just pop up sporadically as we get to the bottom end of just the entire civilization as it crumbles and we rise up, as we're going to be the Victorians and the storytellers for the future and generations to come. That's happening.
Censorship.